Oh, okay. So it's in the dungeon. That's an interesting place to put it. Oh, they do that good of a business there. Okay, I wouldn't expect to get that kind of traction in a dungeon. Yeah. Oh no, I'm definitely coming. Oh, no. Don't worry about picking me up. I got this magic wand from the Writers Guild, so I figured I'll give the thing a little test drive. Oh, I'll call you if it goes wrong, and you guys can grab me real quick, but I think it's gonna work. Okay, I'll see all of you soon. Alright, time to test you out, Dragon Wand. Alright, Alika, take me to the dungeon coffee place. Okay, I'm stable. Okay. Whew. Teleportation. That was not the most comfortable way to travel. I don't know if I'll be doing that. Oh! Hello, my lovelies. I am Madam Crystal Butterfly, and today I am going to get coffee with my friends. Yeah, we planned a whole girls' day to get coffee and go to the movies. Just because I have been going on non-stop to book convention after book convention after book convention. And I'll tell you right now, my lovelies, that can be very, very tiresome. So my friends were like, listen, you've been working hard. Why don't we just hang out today? You give yourself a little bit of a break. And I'm thinking, yeah, definitely do that. So I'm going to go get my... What's that? There are monsters in this dungeon. Honestly, I figured since dungeons are considered where it's at now, and I see several shops here, that they would have at least cleared out the monsters. I mean, how are people going to shop if they're afraid of being eaten? Whatever. I have a magic wand that the Writers Guild gave me for writing 4 books. So I am going to use it to battle my way through this dungeon so I can get coffee. You know, my lovely, since I have to fight and these monsters are probably going to stall me, why don't I tell you about a little story called Rouge Adept by Tom Janssen. All right, my lovelies, as I get to the battle, I'll first tell you a little bit about the author of this interesting story. Tom Janssen has been interested in creating stories since he was in high school. Some of his early exploration into telling a fantasy tale was when he created Dungeons and Dragons campaigns for his friends to enjoy. When Tom was in his 30s, he wrote 2 short stories that seemed to inhabit the world that would eventually evolve into the world of Rouge Adept. As of the making of this video, this author has written 2 standalone stories. His story, Red, is a magical action-packed battle adventure. Tom's other book, Rouge Adept, which I am reviewing today, is another thrilling magical story. His desire to dive into the world of the author started when he became fascinated with the power of a good story. A well-written story's ability to transport people into other realms, in addition to elevating a person's mind to new ways of thinking, about the world and their own circumstances really amazes him. During the creation process of Rouge Adept, the two short stories I mentioned melded together in seamless fashion. The world these stories inhabited fascinated him, and once Tom fell in love with the characters who inhabited that world, he had to keep writing to discover what happened to them. There were people at his job who enjoyed his story. He sent them regular emails with new chapters to enjoy, and their love of his story gave him the courage to publish it into a book, which I am very grateful for because that gave me the chance to read it. Another reason why Tom just simply adores books is the feeling of a weight of a book in his hands, combined with the knowledge that someone went through hours and hours of focused, passionate work to create something that never existed before. He also loves how books can change his understanding of himself and the world around him, and that alone is nothing but magical. Darn you. Are you really out of magic charts that quickly? I got more monsters to fight. I gotta get some coffee. Oh, hello, my lovelies. So, as you can see, my wand is out of power from fighting all these monsters that are lurking around in this dungeon. And as I was fighting on my way to get coffee, I spotted a cute little mom and pop bookstore. You know me. Books are my weakness. So I just had to go inside just for a minute to see if there was anything I'd like to read. And I bumped into a couple other authors. One author has a wand just like mine. Actually, it was two authors who have wands just like mine that they got from the Writers Guild. But one of the authors only wrote one book. The other author wrote 3 books. And they were awarded a wand. And I was told that this wand is for if you write 4 books or more. And we talked about it for a minute. We came to the conclusion that you get these special wands as long as you write a book in general. Which I don't know why the Writers Guild didn't just say that. I mean, writing even one book is a huge achievement. Heck, even reading one book is a huge achievement. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I did get this wand even though it's out of magic charge. It's actually looking like I'm going to have to wait a minute for it to recuperate. But don't worry, my lovelies. Well, I was in the bookstore. I made a point to buy a mother freaking sword. So these monsters do not stand a chance against me. Alright, my lovelies, as I fight these monsters off on my journey to get coffee with friends, I'm going to tell you about what Rouge Adept is all about. For creativity! The world is split down the middle. 2 schools of power control everything, and unlicensed use of power is outlawed and punishable by death. Mercenary Nix is seeking a big score when he and his team take a job in Nin that looks profitable. On the other side of the world, Orphan Wren plays with a small amount of power, seeking to learn as he hides from discovery. Both Nix and Wren will soon find themselves in the middle of a war that will not only reshape the established order, but will cause the very earth to quake. All I wanted to do was go and get coffee with my friends and sign up for all this monster shit. I feel like Nix. All he and his friends were doing was just responding to a potential mercenary job. They didn't sign up to be attacked or You have to practically fight the whole town? These crazy people constantly attacking them? Oh my goodness. Do these things ever end?
Who exactly is this Nyx person? He was a thief because his brother is a thief. Well, his brother was a thief until the executioner got a hold of him, which signaled to Nyx that he needed to make an immediate career change, so he became a mercenary. During his mercenary work, he made friends with two other mercenaries, a man named Betch and a woman named Alana. The group arrives in the city of Nin to meet a man named Tatomo at a bar. Tatomo tells the group he wants them to get a stolen object back for him, but he barely gets into all the details about the job, and it gives them more of an idea of what the object is when a group of unsavory characters walk into the bar and they seem to know Tatomo. Tatomo suddenly declares that the meeting is over. Nyx and friends realize that this is some kind of setup and they need to get the heck out of that bar. There's an altercation with the people who had come into the bar looking all suspicious, and Nyx threatens Tatomo with a knife. In response to Nyx's threats, Tatomo's eyes suddenly glow and the air around him goes cold. Nyx tries to stab Tatomo the second all this weird stuff starts going on, but the man disappears. This is when the group realizes that Tatomo is a sorcerer, also known as a power user. I'm going to get more into about how magic works in this story later, but magic users are seen as bad news. Nyx and his friends are able to escape their attackers and sneak out of the bar via the back way. They later find themselves in a crowded area of the city. Next thing they know, some of the people who attacked them in the bar have found them and they're trying to navigate through the crowd to kill Nyx and his friends. The group does try to escape these attackers, and also while they're trying to escape, they're hit with a major question that they've been wondering for a hot minute. Why are these people even trying to kill them? They don't know them. They didn't do anything to them. They were just coming to see about a job. They don't have any idea what this group of attackers' motivation is to try to do a whole lot of murdering of them. Now, I'm not going to get deep into the events that happen while the group is trying to get away from their pursuers. First, because this is one of the most exciting early moments in this book. Naturally, I want you to read this moment for yourself so you can experience the same excitement that I did when reading it. So, you may want to go ahead and grab yourself a copy of this story. Now, I want to step away from Nyx for a moment because I need to applaud this author. Most of the time in action-packed stories like this, the first chapter is not super intense, just to help ease the reader into the story. Mostly so they can follow the setup easier and be able to follow along so when things get super intense, they don't get lost. I applaud Tom for crafting a very intense opening with this group of mercenaries, dealing with the chaos of a job offer gone wrong. Being able to read an immediate intense moment in the very first chapter that's crafted well and easy to follow along with the events that are going on is a real treat, and it was just simply a pleasure to read. Back to Nyx. So, long story short, he gets stabbed in the leg by one of the people pursuing him and his friends. The man who stabbed him makes a comment about Nyx being off his game, leading Nyx to ask the logical question of what the hell is going on? Why is this person who stabbed him acting like he has a deep knowledge of him? The man tells Nyx he has to stop him from getting in the way. Nyx has the same question the reader would have at this point. Get in the way of what? He and his friends do not know these people or what their plan is, nor how the heck would they even be able to get in the way of the plan that they do not know about. All the man tells Nyx is it does not matter because he's already been paid to kill Nyx, so, he's gonna do that. He proceeds to attack Nix, and Nix kicks his ass, but he doesn't kill him. There are a lot of people around where they're at, and the city does have laws. You just can't go around killing people, at least not in a spot where you can get caught. Anyway, after defeating this man, Nix spots Tatomo. He goes over to speak to him, and he notices that Tatomo looks a little worse for wear. Tatomo immediately apologizes to Nix for attacking him and his friends. He apparently trusted someone he shouldn't have, but the important thing is that he said that he is sorry and promises to tell Nix that he is going to tell him exactly what is going on right after they escape from an assassin. As you have probably assumed at this point, Nix is completely dumbfounded. I mean, there's an assassin trying to kill him now? What the HE double hockey sticks is this? So, yeah, he's having a very rough day. He barely has time to digest that there is an assassin coming after him when suddenly people in town are getting ripped apart by some kind of wood demon. When he tries to escape from the monster, he blacks out, which I can't blame him. I would have passed out too. After all this nonsense, I mean, first, the person who seemed to want to hire him for a job had a bunch of people try to kill him. When he escapes from one of the people trying to kill him, he runs into another person who's trying to kill him, who acts like he should be fully aware of why this is happening. After he defeats that nut and finds the person who started the whole thing, he learns that there is an assassin plotting to kill him, and there's a wooded demon running around just murdering folk. Alright, everybody caught up with who's been trying to kill Nix and his buds throughout this chapter. Everybody caught up? Okay, good. When Nix passes out, he has some kind of crazy dream where he's in a place with a blood red sky, and there are just bodies that have been hacked up, scattered everywhere. The smell of death is so strong. Nix falls to his knees, and I'm not going to get into the details about this because this is a very critical moment, I feel, in the early story that you need to read and experience for yourself. But Nix is terrified as he starts to make his way up this hill that he finds as he's roaming this scary place. And he discovers a woman with pale skin that is mottled, and she's got no hair anywhere on that head of hers. The woman casts some kind of strange spell that just terrifies Nix, and it causes him to wake up all freaked out from his dream, only to discover he's with his friends in an alley. When he calms down, they start to make their way somewhere they think is safe, and Nix passes out again, and later wakes up in a room with his friends. At this point, everybody is over being in Nin, and they just would rather be literally anywhere else. People and devils have been trying to kill them non-stop. Betch is ready to get hightailed out of there as they discuss, since they all mutually agreed they want to leave, but the others have a bit of a hold up with doing the whole leaving thing that they were talking about because they want to speak to Tatomo. He told Nix that he would meet him again, and Nix and Alana feel that they need to get a better idea of what the hell the situation is before they even try to escape. Also, they don't really have a good idea of how they're going to escape like they want to anyway. Tatomo does later come before the group really banged up, and he tells Nix that the strange dream that he had is a vision, and Nix needs to stop the woman he saw in the vision. Otherwise, bad stuff is going to happen. Tatomo cannot help them stop the bad stuff this crazy lady's trying to enact because he has been poisoned, and he's gonna die pretty soon. And after they stop the woman, he wants Nix to remember that they need to seek under the Red Sea to possibly find hope. After giving that little bit of confusing information, Tatomo dies. The group hears some thunder and sounds of a building crashing, followed by people screaming. It's clear that this is the moment where this group has to make a stand. Will Nix and his friends succeed in stopping the crazy lady? Well, you'll just have to find out by grabbing a copy of this book.
Yeah. Hello? Go away. Okay. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I'm still here. Yeah. I guess another monster got in my way. I've been fighting these things for a good while. Yeah. Oh, you had to take down a few too? Teach them to mess with us, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, don't worry. I'm like, according to the GPS, when I checked my phone a minute ago, I am like about 10 minutes away. I'd be there already, to be honest, if it wasn't for these things. Yeah, I know they're annoying. Wonder how they got in. Oh, smugglers brought them here? Why did a bunch of smugglers bring monsters to a dungeon? You're joking. Really? So they thought they could just sell a bunch of monsters to a dungeon, and when nobody wanted it, they just let them loose? Well, I hope the police have the... Oh, they do? Okay, that's good. That's what they deserve for, bringing a bunch of monsters to a dungeon. I mean, just so unrefined. Anyway, I'm gonna be there in a few minutes. Yeah. Well, it's hard, but, even though smugglers seem to have caused me a bit of a monster problem, I doubt they're as bad as the smugglers Wren has to deal with. Oh, who's Wren? Oh, he's a character in that Rouge Adept book I've been telling you about. Yeah, I'll tell you more about it as soon as I get there. Okay, girl, see you in a minute. Okay, should be there any second. Oh, son of a bitch, come here. Ha!
Wren lives in the Western Province, which is known for being a peaceful mess. Things seem pretty chill, but the Clay Guild gets to go around doing all kinds of illegal smuggling mess and hurting folks. There was an attempt to stop them from doing all that mean stuff, but it cost too many troops and civilian lives to try to put an end to this nightmare. So instead, an uneasy truce was formed to allow some corruption in exchange for toning down the bloodshed. Wren is having a pretty chill day, just wandering through the market until he spots a member of the Clay Guild smashing and messing up his friend's pottery booth just to intimidate his friend into giving him money. Wren is someone who cannot really afford to bring attention to himself because he was born a power user. Now his friend is in trouble and he can't just sit by and watch them be attacked by some thugs, so he decides to teach the guild member a lesson. The guild member is a tall, very muscular man, and Wren is weak and scrawny. This guy could snap Wren like a twig. Luckily for Wren, he can use his powers to mess with the guy and teach him a lesson. Sadly, Wren's little bit of fun to teach this man a lesson for trying to extort money from his friend does not go well, because as Wren is using his own power against the guild member, a master spellcaster apparently is in the area, and that person uses their power to attack Wren, injuring him and killing the guild member. The master caster is attacking Wren because Wren is an untrained power user, which is illegal. Really, it's illegal to be born a power user in general unless you immediately report yourself to one of the schools of magic and have them take you away to be trained, and then they'll let you live. But since Wren did not do that, his ass is grasped because a master power user is in the area and he's definitely going to kill Wren. Master power users, when they catch someone who is an untrained power user, do have the option of just taking them to prison, but killing them is the preferred option, and that's what's gonna happen if Wren doesn't run away quickly. Thankfully, Wren finds a place to hide, but the spell that he was attacked with is causing him great pain and he is wounded and bleeding. If he doesn't get help soon, he will die. Luckily for him, he runs into another spellcaster named Prius. Now, Prius is a pretty remarkable spellcaster, but sadly, when she was a child, she told too much information to the wrong person about her being a power user when she should have kept her mouth shut. And because of her foolish actions, she was blinded by the person she told her secrets. Wren begs her for help, and she's not the type of person to just leave someone injured and dying. She saves Wren, and in exchange for saving his life, she asks him only one thing: to bring back her ability to see. Now, how is he gonna do that? Well, you'll just have to read to find out.
Come on, come on, come on. Okay, good. Good. Looks like my wand finally has some life. So I'm going to use it to quickly blast away the last of these creatures so I can finally meet up with my friends. You know, as I use magic to get rid of a monster, why don't I tell you a bit about this story's magic system?
As an author who likes to create magic systems for my stories, I love reading about other magic systems that other authors have created, especially when those magic systems have rules. I know there are plenty of good authors who created fantastic stories with magic systems without rules, but I just love the ones with rules. They're my favorite. Don't try to complain about how magic systems don't need rules in the comments. I just like the ones that have them more. I just love the magic system Tom created for Rouge Adept. Earlier in the review, I referred to a magic user as a power user. In Rouge Adept, they refer to magic wielders as power users because they suck the power out of one thing and they can use it to create something else. For example, when Wren messes with the guild member who was harassing his friend, he uses his ability to suck the power out of the wool of a scarf, causing the scarf to be drained of color. And he uses that power to make the scarf wrap itself around the guild member's face. As I mentioned earlier, it is illegal to use power if you have not been trained. It's because when power is absorbed, it's looking to escape. There were many unskilled power users that died in spectacular ways from using power due to their lack of understanding of how to control it. This is one of the reasons why Wren only absorbs a little bit of power when he decides to use it. The other reason is that he needed to not draw attention to himself, otherwise risk getting killed. Power users are feared because of what they can do. In the past, wars were fought using power users, and the destructive magic that they wield caused a lot of havoc and a lot of life was lost. To be born a power user is to be despised and born a crime. All power users, for the most part, are only allowed to live at the schools that train power users to wield their magic properly. For example, later in the story, it's practically full-out war between power users and monsters who are destroying cities, magic schools, and towns. There are some power users who fight on the side of the monsters, but I will get into their poor judgment later. Because of all these destructive monster shenanigans, we are introduced to a character named Wren. Wren is a master, which means he is a power user who has mastered using power to the point where he is borderline being unstoppable. I'm saying borderlining because for the most part, power users do have limits to their ability to absorb and control power. Wren tells the story of when he was a child and how he had this very close and loving family until they discovered he is a power user. His whole family immediately lost affection for him and did not hesitate to send him away to one of the schools. I feel Red's story really helps the audience get a better idea of how poorly power users are viewed and treated. There are other scenes that show this issue, but I feel that the point is not truly nailed in until you hear Red's story. The very idea that a family would just easily throw away one of their loved ones just because they were born a power user is just so heartbreaking, and it hits home in a big way, and I love the emotional depth this scene created.
Okay, my lovelies. One ran out of power again. But I can see the coffee shop, and I can see my friend. Well, my friends, I don't know why I'm explaining when I'm practically out of breath from fighting all these things, but it's okay. It's okay, my lovelies, because this battle is almost over. I'm almost done. I'm almost through the monsters. Whew. Level out the breathing. Level out the breathing. Okay, that's better. Alright, my lovelies. As I face my final batch of monsters to get to my destination, I am going to tell you about this story's villain and why she is one crazy-ass lady. Alright, as the creed of the Writers Guild says, never allow any beast, mercenary, or unworldly foe stand in the way between you and coffee, tea, 5-hour energy, or a smoothie.
There are some truly wicked individuals in this story, but I'm only going to talk about this tale's main villain. The main villain of this story is a woman with mottled skin. This is a villain I feel was crafted very well because everyone who does not know about her is placed in a state of fear because of the monster attack she is sending, along with the evil stuff she's up to. But I'm not going to get too deep into all of her evil shenanigans. Most of the time you do see her, she makes it clear she is not to be messed with, and if you know what's good for you, you will fear her. You don't get to see her a whole lot, which I feel aids to the character because it's like this constant fear that's in the background, because even though you don't see her, you know she's there or you know she's coming and you need to run for your life. The best way I can explain how well Tom crafted this character is to bring up a subject matter that pissed off the anime community, that people talked about it to the point where it was practically beaten to death. So there's this anime called Cowboy Bebop. In the anime, the villain's name is Vicious. The show barely shows him, and the few times he is on screen, the audience is exposed to his evil and the fact that when he is around, people should be afraid. Alright, I'm not trying to start a hate party, but I bet a bunch of you probably know about Netflix's attempt to do a live adaptation of this anime. The top tier problem being the audience did not feel intimidated by the live action version of Vicious. This mostly happened because Netflix gave this character a huge amount of screen time combined with creating an in-depth backstory for him that made the character look more like an unstable crybaby than somebody who's imposing. Tom provided his audience with limited exposure to the villain, and even though she has her moments where you get to see her more, and he shows some of her motivation for doing the wicked mess she does in the overall story, the audience's exposure to her is limited, so that when she comes in with her scary evil mess, you feel like she's an imposing character.
My lovelies, that is some really good coffee. This place is definitely worth the battle I did to get here. So my friends are actually in the car right now. They're waiting for me. I just wanted to finish up my coffee first. Place just fabulous, staff really amazing. I'm definitely coming back here. Hopefully there won't be any monsters next time. Oh, and if you hear all that sword chatter in the background, that's actually because a group of monster hunters showed up to clear out the rest of those beasts, and I'm grateful for them. I was able to really relax and enjoy my coffee I fought so hard to get as soon as they showed up. Yeah, and I met a few of them. They're really nice, you know. People say all that smack about monster hunters, but I've even met a few monster hunters beforehand. Really nice folk, really nice. Anyway, my lovely, before I get in the car with my friends to go see a movie, actually at the time of this making video, I'm slurring my word, my goodness, that battle was hard. But at the time of the making this video, the Barbie movie is still in theaters, and you know I gotta see my girl Barbie on the big screen, so we're about to take off to go see the Barbie movie. And before I head out, let me give Rouge Adept its butterfly rating. So, when it comes to Rouge Adept, I am giving it the butterfly score of 5 butterflies out of 5. And this book really earned those 5 butterflies, my lovelies. It was just non-stop entertainment. The story and the world was just crafted so beautifully. I couldn't help but fall in love with this story and enjoy every single last bit of the adventure. Really, if I'm being honest, there's a lot more of this story I would have liked to tell you. There are actually a bunch of characters that I simply adored that I couldn't mention because, you know, I gotta keep the review spoiler free, and talking about these other characters would have gotten too deep into spoiler territory. Well, that in this video would be 3 hours long, and I don't have time to make a 3-hour long video with my friends waiting for me. So, my lovelies, only thing I will say about Rouge Adept, well, really the only thing I have left to say about Rouge Adept is if you don't grab yourself a copy of this simply wonderful story, then you are denying yourself a real treat. So treat yourself right and grab a copy of Rouge Adept. Also, if you enjoyed this video and my ongoing battle against those monsters, please give this video a like, leave me a little comment, and if you have not yet, slap that subscribe button like it owes you money. And don't forget to give that little notification bell a ring, okay? And with that, my lovelies, this video is a wrap. Now, if you please, enjoy yourself a good book. I normally dance into a world of magic with you, but like I said, my friends are waiting, so I have to go. Have yourself a lovely day and treat yourself to some good books.